Akwaaba, and welcome to Expat Life Ghana. I'm Ayo, and this is Tony, and we are documenting our move from Texas to Ghana as we go beyond the return.
In this episode, we are answering your questions. So let's get this thing started.
All right, y'all. So it's been crazy the last month getting ready to come here and then getting here and trying to get settled in. But the love from everybody is super overwhelming.
Much love given, much love given back. We appreciate everybody who's been recognizing us as we're out and about. Shopping or just out, people coming up to us saying, hey, you guys are our favorite YouTubers. And, surprisingly, we're getting recognized, and we want to say thank you. The past week we hit over 10,000 subscribers, so we want to say thank you to each and every one of you that subscribe with us and are seeking our information and find it valuable. We really appreciate you guys. So thank you to each and every one of our subscribers.
Absolutely. And we are only 75 subscribers away from 12,000. So if you have not subscribed yet, I don't know what you're waiting for, but hit the button now. Yeah. That way you'll be part of the community and you can keep up to date with all the videos as we roll them out.
Right.
Today we are talking all about questions that people have been asking us in real life, out in the world, on the comments, at our Facebook group and the private Facebook group. So we're answering questions, hoping to help y'all out as you get ready to move to Ghana, or if you're already there, just getting some questions answered in general. So first we're going to start with
housing update.
So the last video, we showed some houses and you guys were like all in the comments telling us which one you liked best. And
number four was a big hit with everybody.
Everybody loved number 4, so that was really good. But we ended up not going with any of those places, partially because of the pricing and the size of the homes, and the other part was they just didn't feel like us.
Yeah, that didn't really vibe with us, right? Yeah.
But we did find a place that does feel like us.
Absolutely, it's wonderful. It's almost everything we wanted. The major bonus was its walking distance to Pop's house, and
it's like a mile.
No, it's not a mile. Maybe like a half mile. Maybe it's a half mile. But that was a big factor for us, that we wanted to be close to family. So we got that.
And it's a nice, small, comfortable place. There's actually not a boys' quarters, which was one of the things that we had been looking for, but it has enough other things, plenty of grass space for the boys to play in, and a self-contained lot that we liked it right away.
We big hit right away. I think we were like, don't get too excited. don't let them know.
So then we were able to negotiate our price in CDs, which is already a good sign, because they already were like, okay, well, the price is in CDs. And we're like,
ooh, all right, we like you guys.
So that's always beneficial. We closed the deal. We started moving in, and we're in the process of nesting and settling.
Making it feel like home.
And that's kind of where we are with our housing update. But we got a lot of questions related to housing. One of them was, why aren't you looking for cheaper housing? We totally were. If you guys watched the budget video, the budget that I had set for housing was 2,000 CDs a month. And we really wanted to try to stick as close to that as possible. We were able to get way closer to that than we did in the first set of houses that we saw. So we are very thankful that we brought down the budget. But remember, we were looking in a very specific area.
Yes. The area that we were looking at is a very desirable area in Tema. So housing is a little pricey here, especially if you get into the bigger houses. So
absolutely.
A lot of people were kind of thrown off about why we weren't looking at other places, but it had absolutely everything to do with being close to family.
Yes. And remember, because of where we were in Tema, there are other areas in Tema that are a lot less expensive. So if you have been house hunting and you've looked in the Tema area, you'll see that when you get up towards Dawinia and a little bit north or on the other side of the interstate that you get much cheaper houses. Like you can you can rent a whole house for a couple $100. You can buy a house for under 50, some under 50. So very affordable housing. But because we are still in the older section, the houses are a little more developed. The land has already been sold through. Like it's just a little more expensive to live here.
And with the other houses, getting access to them is really hard. You're going to spend a lot of time in traffic in some of these places. So that was not something I have the patience for.
Oh, no. Yeah. So, I mean, there were a couple different things. But if you are looking for someplace that is a little more affordable than the 2,000 CDs a month that I outlined in the beginning, no problem. You can totally find that. Because of the area we were looking in, we had some constraints in the budget. But you can completely find cheaper housing. So another question that we had was, is it still upfront for rentals in Ghana?
Yes, it is. 1 to 2 years up front. 1 to 2
years. We actually tried to negotiate down to 1 year. And the guy was like, no, we're going to do 2.
But we were able to get some other amenities added into the rental. So that was really good for us.
Right. Everything is negotiable. So just remember that. So, they do want that upfront part and you do have to negotiate that. So as part of your planning for your move, you're going to want to save up some money. Now, there are some places that will do 6 months. There are some places that will do 1 year, no problem. But what you're going to find is that one of 2 things is going to happen. At the end of the term, you have to move out, which can be a real pain in the butt. Or at the end of your 6 months or 1 year, they can raise the rents. So by going for that longer term, you do lock in the rate and are able to take advantage of the longevity of a lease. So just a couple of things to keep in mind as you're debating that upfront fee. So I know that was one for everyone. Let's hop over to the comments really quick. Holy cow, you guys are in there. I hear someone is staring out their window at snow and sleet.
Oh,
we don't miss that at
No,
all.
not at all. And I'm a former Wisconsinite, so I don't miss that, not one bit.
Not at all. Kathy is in Minnesota. So I hope your house sells soon so that you can get to Ghana, because right now, heading into winter, I know that it is not fun there.
Yeah, it's about 81 degrees here right now. I think the high today was about 84. So.
Yeah, definitely. RB is asking about some traditional, authentic food.
Everywhere. Yeah. Follow your nose. It'll lead you to a place that has good dining. I guarantee you.
Absolutely. And if you are adventurous, even a little bit, have a local person come into your house and show you how to make some authentic dishes. It is really, it's easier than you think it is. And it's good to learn. It's good to learn so that you have that skill and you can cook for yourself. So authentic food in your own kitchen. I think that's the best way. Somebody is letting you know, Charlie.
Charlie, we in.
Charlie,
Ralph Lauren.
Can you speak to Charlie?
Charlie, it's Charlie, not Charlie.
Yes, the way Ralph has written it in the comments here is that's
how
it is. It's Charlie.
Charlie.
It's slang.
Sounds like Charlie, but Charlie.
Bro or brother.
Bro, my man.
Yeah.
A woman.
So people have been saying Charlie.
Yeah. And
just so you know, it is Charlie. It's cold. Somebody's telling us that it's cold right now, even in Georgia.
Oh yeah, I don't know if they're affected by Hurricane Zeta or not, but
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm not missing hurricanes right now. I tell you that. And much love to all my family in Louisiana. Y'all stay safe. I know you've been getting hit left and right this past hurricane season. Just stay safe.
Yes, please. So let's jump into a little bit more update. What about the truck update? Tony,
we bought a truck. I'm loving the truck. It's a downgrade from the F-250, but it's a beautiful truck. I had my eye on it last year when we were here. So I did my research on it, and it's a beautiful truck. Yep,
so we're loving it. I am so much calmer now that were in a slightly higher vehicle.
Yeah.
Because driving that low vehicle every time, I mean, it was like every time you saw a manhole coming, I was like, oh my God.
Manhole, not pothole, but a manhole, people. These manholes are big. I mean, they're like a foot deep. Yeah. And a lot of people keep asking how come I didn't bring the F-250.
That is actually the next question. Why didn't you bring your F-250, Tony?
It's a 6.7 liter diesel gas guzzler. In the States, I was paying about $100, $120 a week to fill that thing up and keep it going for the week. So having that just for a local vehicle here, and it's so big. Parking here is crazy. You know, in Texas, they have bigger parking spaces, more people. Yeah, exactly. But here, it just would not be a practical everyday vehicle. So, and it's too high profile. I don't need all that attention here. So,
since you got this truck, though, I swear every time he passes a Ford F-150, he points it out. Oh, there's another one.
Yeah, a little bit of envy, but you know, I just think about what they're paying in gas. I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that. So,
oh my God.
Yeah, it just wasn't a practical vehicle for to have here for a regular everyday driving vehicle.
Absolutely. And just as an aside, this is not a question that I've seen so far, but somebody asked it in one of the comments. Gas here currently is 4.4 CDs per liter. And so I was in the car the other day. I was like, I have no idea what that what that translates to in gallons and dollars. So I did a little bit of math, and it was just under $3 a gallon. So when you're talking, and that was diesel, because the truck that we're driving right now is also diesel. So that was diesel. But comparatively, in the US, the diesel prices were lower than that.
Yeah.
So kind of just to give you guys some validation for the F-250 choice, like gas is a little more expensive here than it was in the States. So as you're planning your vehicle, think about gas mileage as part of that.
And most of the vehicles here, they're utes. So that's the smaller four-door utility vehicles. And most of them are diesel. The Toyota Hilux, the Mitsubishi L200, they're all diesel vehicles. So something to consider when you are car shopping.
Absolutely. We've got a couple people who are telling us that they are going to be coming in soon, which is awesome. I know Kathy's coming in soon as well.
Red, gold, green. Greetings from Washington, D.C. Coming into Ghana next 2 weeks for a second time. Red, if you're going to be here towards the end of November, we are having a live event, an in-person event, a luncheon for expats here. We're all going to be getting together. So if you're not part of the Facebook group that we have, we want to make sure you get with us and join in, and hopefully you can get in on the festivities.
Yeah, so we've had a lot of people who reach out to us and they're like, we're coming into town, let's get together. And it's kind of overwhelming sometimes, but we're trying to get this little community built. So you're hearing it first here on this live that we're going to try to schedule events on a regular basis to get people who just watch the channel or expats that are in Ghana together so that we can network with one another and just have a friend, a lifeline.
Yeah, networking is big. I mean, if we know somebody and we've done good business with them, we want to share the information, and just so you have somebody you're doing business with, that they're not trying to scam you or something. So
absolutely. So Kofi wants to know why we are not building our dream house.
Eventually we'll get to it. We just want to get settled, and building a house here is kind of a lengthy deal, so we don't want to rush into something, and we just want to make sure when it's time to build, we're building an area we're happy with, and we're building what we want to build. And
that's actually part of the recommendation that we make for people who are considering a move to Ghana, is that you take time to visit. And sometimes a visit for people is like a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, a month, and it's different doing that than it is actually living here. So, you know, if you watch a few YouTube videos, you're like, I'm ready to move to Ghana, and you just go for it, buy land and start building, like, there may be some buyer's remorse there.
Yeah.
So it's really a great idea. If you can come, it's okay to do transitional housing, rent for a month, stay in an Airbnb, do a 6-month rental so that you can really find the area that speaks to you.
Yeah.
We had some expats come and visit a couple of weeks ago who thought they were going to love Cape Coast, and they got there and they did not.
Cape Coast is not for us. I'm like, oh, glad you went to visit.
Right.
Nice place to visit. I think it's a kind of touristy area, but you know,
totally.
Not for everyone.
You really do have to get in there and see what it is that suits you before you start the building process. Another thing too is that buildings here are not like your home in the US. So the layout and the format is going to be much different. If you come thinking US,
you're going to have some issues.
It does. Like you just, you're not going to lay your house out in a way that is most functional for living here. Just like if you built a house in Florida, it would be different than if you built a house in South Dakota.
Right.
The needs are just different. So that's part of why we have not started building yet. Yeah. So we've got somebody here from Colorado as well. Oh my gosh, you guys from all these cold places. I have to tell you. Yeah. We have the AC on right now, mostly so we're not glistening during thank you for the shout out on us. I really appreciate it. I know there was a conversation in our group not that long ago about some of the other YouTubers out there in the world.
There are other YouTubers that
talking about Ghana. Yeah. But you know, we try to give you helpful, realistic, useful, balanced information so that you can come to your own decisions.
Right.
So let's leave that here.
Yeah, we don't talk about other people.
We don't. We're just glad that you recognize quality when you see it.
Exactly.
A 2-year rental is cool. That gives you time to find land and build or buy. Completely agree. Yep. We have somebody who's asking about a good school, and we're going to talk about that in just a little bit. So let's get back over to our questions. We talked about bringing that F-250, but somebody wants to know, how is your credit worthiness determined when it's time to buy a vehicle here in Ghana?
It was very interesting. The salesperson told us, yeah, you know, if you want to, buy the vehicle, you can finance it. You know, it's half down, and you can finance the rest for a year. I'm like, okay, let's do that then. And she said, great, I'll go get the accountant. And the accountant comes and says, yes, it's half down. I said, okay.
And the two of them are literally just staring at each other.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, so it's half down. I'm like, okay, it's half down. And a couple seconds went by, I'm like, we haven't done any paperwork yet.
You don't even know his name yet.
Yeah. But, it was half down, and then we can get this process started. And so that's exactly how they determine your credit worthiness, is when you put money on the table, they will understand you want to buy a vehicle and you're ready to finance. So that's...
Now, this is one place. There are a couple other places, other dealerships that will finance with a less money down for a longer term if you need it, but those places oftentimes work through an actual bank. Yeah. So you'll need to be a little more established to do that.
And when you do less down for a longer time, there's a 18% interest on the loan. So that's something to consider. Going half down with the 1 year plan, there's no interest. So it's just, you pay the other half in a year.
Absolutely. We had somebody who was double checking that Ghanaian law was from 6 months to a year limit for rentals. They have totally passed laws that state that your period has to be shorter, but you're going to find a lot of people who are still going to ask for a year or two if possible. So just so you know, but great question.
Yeah.
Somebody's coming in just after Christmas, and somebody's checking in from Wisconsin. Hey.
Tomahawk. Trying to figure out where Tomahawk is. That like their boot area or something?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. We have somebody else who's saying the idea of paying rent up front is overwhelming, and completely agree. Which is why planning is so important. and also why it's so important to work with someone who you know or is established, that you have some kind of credibility to this process. So really, like, who you work with matters. If you're not sure about somebody that you can work with, visit expatlifeghana.com, go to our partners tab. We have a couple of agents that we've worked with personally who've treated us very well that we can recommend for anyone else who's looking to either rent, buy a building, or buy land. So, and that's in Tema, Accra. They actually work, I think one of them said he even goes all the way to Kumasi and Cape Coast. So
yeah, he goes all over Ghana. Actually, he's he's money motivated, so he'll get out there. Yeah.
All right, so let's handle some money questions.
Okay, money questions.
Oh my gosh, money questions.
Like
okay,
those.
We get this question a lot, which is, what is the exchange rate?
The exchange rate fluctuates. Right now, I think it's 5.82.
Yes. So a couple of people have been upset that we've done videos where we talk about the cost of items in cedis, which is the Ghanaian currency. We do that because the exchange rate changes all the time. And there are people who are back home who make a point of sending money when the exchange rate is very favorable. Right. Even though they're not here yet, they take the time to send money and deposit it into their accounts so that they get the favorable exchange rate. So we don't quote in US dollars or in euros or anything else because we have viewers from everywhere, a bunch of different countries. So we want to be fair to that. And the exchange rate changes all the time. So the exchange rate is 5.82 right now, but it does fluctuate.
Yeah, it does fluctuate. And when it goes higher, you want to take advantage of it.
Somebody asked this in the Facebook group, how much money can I bring to Ghana at once?
Oh, let's see. I think the limit on cash leaving out of the U.S. is 10,000. So 10,000. But you can always have your bank card, and if you have a debit card, you can use that and pull out cedis instead of dollars. So that's a big help.
So 10,000 per person. So if you're traveling in a couple, you can bring 20. If you're traveling with a family of 4, you can bring 40. It's $10,000 per person. Be very cautious if you're traveling with that amount of cash on you. And I actually also suggest, which we did as well, was to bring a travel safe. One that is, we picked one that was FAA approved. So they have different versions of them. We'll drop a link in the comments in case you want to pick one up. But it actually worked really well for us while we were staying in the Airbnb for transition housing, that we were able to lock up our passports and money and all of those things while we're out doing the things that we need to do, because that's not something you want to like carry around with you every day.
You don't want to have all that money on you, right?
So I think last time I hid like $100 bill and like hairbrushes and things. I was trying to hide them. This time I was like, let's just get a safe. It's just so much easier.
Different from last time.
Yes, it was definitely different than last time. Somebody else wants to know, how can I get my money when I'm in Ghana? Is there a US-Ghana bank partnership?
We are still working out banking.
And we've been here for like, this is 6 weeks now. We've been here for a while, and we do not have a solution per se for this yet. We have some debit and credit cards that do not charge international transaction fees. And so we're leaning into those. And we're also setting up mobile money so that we're able to take our US account and deposit mobile money into our accounts or transfer to a person if we're doing business, so that we can pay with mobile money instead of using the little cash reserves that we have and doing it that way. What's interesting is that from a tax point of view, which I would like, I'm not a tax professional, so take this with a grain of salt, but when you earn money in Ghana, if you earn cedis in Ghana by doing business here, you have to file and pay Ghanaian income tax and Ghanaian taxes, which, makes sense. But then the United States, if you're still filing a return in the US will also make you pay on your international earnings. So you get taxed twice. income tax
And we're
return if you end up earning and you're still claiming income in the US. So
yeah,
for tax purposes, something to consider. I'm going to come on over. Our next topic is safety.
Safety.
But I want to come to the comments because somebody asked us a question about whether how are the firearm laws in Ghana?
I don't know. I have no idea. They have personal security, things like that. That, you know, if you got issues, but I don't know.
Like firearms are not as prevalent. Yeah. As in other parts of the world.
Yeah. If you ask me about firearms in the United States, I can tell you there's about 6 firearms for every person in the United States. Yeah,
is that like a real thing?
Yeah, it's a real thing.
6?
Yeah, 6 for every person.
For every person?
Yeah.
For every adult person?
For every person.
For every...
Yeah, it's a whole bunch of guns in there. Yeah, yeah. Stocked to the brim with guns in the States. Here, not as common, but there are, you know, outlaws out there that, you know, do have firearms. In my everyday living here in Ghana, I don't see that being an issue. Needing a firearm, so not even something that I thought about considering.
And I think I feel better knowing that there's not 6 guns for every person here.
Yeah, yeah. You know, when we get to the safety, I'll talk a little more about that. But yeah, I don't really. It's not a big thing here. You know, wow. Needing a gun.
That is the craziest thing. Some people want to know how the boys are adjusting. They're doing good.
Yeah, school isn't, you know, in, so right now it's like they're on vacation, but they're getting tutored.
They are at the School of Mom right now, and the School of Mom is not that easy, so it's not like vacation.
Oh no, it's not that easy, but it's.
But we only do half days because Mama got things to do. I can't be doing it with the children. But we do have tutor 3 days a week for both of the boys, and then homeschool mom half days.
Yeah.
Plus then that. That's like
a mini vacation, extended. I don't know what to call it, but they're adjusting pretty well. Luke is out, you know, going back and forth to the store, doing store runs to the market. So, yeah, so
and he's still asking for a phone, which I still am not giving him.
He asked for a job to get a phone.
And Leo's cool everywhere, so he's just go with the flow.
Yeah, he's happy. Just feed him. So he's good.
Pretty much. Just wants to be fed, and that's all. Yeah. We have somebody who's asking questions about healthcare, health insurance, and doctor's visits, as well as medication, which is a great question. We are right now scheduled to go to a healthcare facility here in Ghana to do an interview with the team to find out a little bit more about healthcare. With that said, having done a little bit of research on them ahead of time, they do offer insurance programs and have some U.S. partnerships so that you can establish your health insurance and healthcare there and then still use facilities here.
Yeah.
For prescriptions, there's pharmacies that are very accessible here. I think people, you know, it's like that misperception about
the developing country. Ghana being a developing country, you can find a pharmacy, you know, every corner you turn. They even have them.
Ghana internet got us good, right?
Yeah.
So because we've just moved, we are still using a MiFi. We do not have home internet access yet. So sorry if we cut out or buffer.
Yeah.
Apologize ahead of time. We have somebody else who's asking, did you find a school for the boys? No, and the lower schools are still not opened up yet. So tutors and homeschool mom is the way to go. But we are going to talk a little bit more about schools in just a minute. Somebody else is asking and saying it's a little premature, but do we have an idea where we plan to build our house?
No, haven't even begun to look. Just so much other things that are more important right now, I guess, that we're looking at and dealing with. So.
Yeah, which is okay. We have time.
No worry.
No worry. We're on Ghana time now.
And sorry to hear that. Back to Israel. I hope I said that right. We have family in the Louisiana area that same thing happened with trees getting knocked down. So sorry to hear that. All the way in Georgia with this hurricane.
Yeah, and we did take on 4 feet of water in our one-story home during Hurricane Harvey. Yeah, so we completely understand what it is like. Mm-hmm. Thoughts and prayers your way. Somebody's asking for information about COVID here.
There's COVID here?
That is not even funny.
It's not?
It's really not funny.
But,
we're not going to talk politics at all.
Yeah. But, coming to Ghana, we had to take a test before we got here. We had to take a test when we got here. So we weren't bringing it in. People could say, okay, these people are safe. They're not bringing COVID in.
Right. And as far as like preventions go here.
Yeah, everywhere we go, they're spraying hand sanitizer. Hey, get your mask on, at the malls, at the grocery stores. Everywhere we go, they're serious about the mask and the hand sanitizers. And
they have washing stations outside of the majority of places, and outside of all the schools. Outside, I mean, like the schools that are open, like everywhere that you go, cell phone store, like you're washing your hands before you go in.
Now social distancing, that's a different story.
It's like they mark some spots, and they are like some places are doing some things, but then other places are like, it is what it is.
But these socials, not a lot of social distancing happening.
But the cases here are nothing compared to the UK, Europe,
per capita,
US.
It's like tremendously low. So
yes,
we appreciate that.
Absolutely. We've got somebody who's saying, thanks for transparency. Ghana has its issues, but we're one of the best developing African nations and are sending us some love and respect. We appreciate that.
Thank you, Afra.
Yeah, I think that is the most important thing that we can say right now is that like when it comes to Ghana living, I was thinking this the other day. Mm-hmm. It's like easy and simple are not the same thing. Like I feel like coming to Ghana, we're living a simpler life.
Yeah.
Do not confuse that with an easy life. Ghana has pros and cons, just like anywhere else. For all of those people earlier who are living in cold weather climates, you have a different set of pros and cons that you live with every day because of where you live. Ghana is no different. There are pros and cons to living in this country in the different areas. It just depends on what your needs are. But please do not confuse an African life with being easy.
It's not.
Is really not. Like some things here we do, and I'm like, oh my God, that was the most complicated rigmarole ever, and it would have been like 3 minutes on an app back home. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. We're living a simpler life, not an easier life. Do not get those confused. So if you're coming here for an easy life, and I'm gonna go with a no.
Easy is not simple. So.
Somebody says they're dreading having to wear a mask when they reach Ghana. They've been in Tanzania without one for 6 weeks. I said this to Tony earlier. I was like, is it the vitamin D?
Yeah, it must be.
It feels like the cases and the epidemicness of it is not as prevalent here and in the surrounding countries. And so Natalie's waiting until COVID dies down, hoping in the next 6 months. I can tell you, it's like
Natalie, if you're waiting just because of COVID, you might want to wait here because the numbers in the United States are rising at this point, where the numbers here in Ghana are continually going down.
Yeah. So completely. Somebody's sad about the double taxation, which
Yeah.
I completely agree. Someone else is saying that they're going to keep their money in their US account and use an ATM.
Yep.
Absolutely. And someone is reminding us that Ghana cedis are the third strongest currency in Africa.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is part of the overall draw of coming to Ghana is there's so much development and so much stability in terms of not only government and safety, but monetary stability, even like stability in the real estate market. When you buy here, you do increase your investment. So I feel like that's part of the draw.
And Ghana's laying out the welcome mat pretty good for expats. So they're making it easy to come. They're making it easy to move around and maneuver in business. So I won't say easy, but they're very welcoming. It's nice, but yeah.
We buffered right at the part where we were talking about the double taxation, so people are a little freaked out. But yeah, if you're earning Ghana cedis and US dollars, you'll have to file 2 tax returns because you're earning cedis, so you'll file tax returns here, and then you are also earning in the US, and you'll have to file a tax return there. But the US is very accommodating for those people who choose to earn money outside of their borders, in that they also tax your income from abroad. Isn't that nice? So the US is going to get a little of whatever you're making abroad, and then abroad will get a little of whatever you're making abroad.
Everybody has to get paid, especially the tax man.
Someone's asking about housing security. Yeah, we had a comment that somebody was like, what are all the bars doing on the windows?
Yeah.
Like, well, I thought Ghana was safe.
Well, every place is safe, but you do want to protect yourself. And the first thing you do when you're building a house is, here at least, is you build the wall to protect your property. So as far as housing security, we have electric fence on the house.
I mean, I think we've got enough things here. Like,
and bars on the windows.
Right.
So
I think of it this way too. Like, I've never had my car stolen, but whenever I go someplace, I always lock it. I feel like that's kind of the same thing here. Like, people take precautions on their property, like bars on the window, because it's Africa and you keep your windows open because of the climate. It's hot here. Your windows are open all the time. You don't then want to leave an open window at your house while you go out. So bars are on the window so you can leave the windows open and walk away. So it makes sense. It's not necessarily because there's rampant crime as much as
it's just opportunists out there that hey, if they're able to get away with it, they will. So you want to make sure you eliminate most of those issues.
Totally. G. Griffith letting us know that firearms are not allowed for civilians here.
Well, thank you for that.
Yeah. I feel like
that's a good thing.
It's a good thing. I feel like, and then somebody else is coming to let us know the same thing. Yeah. You would need to get it licensed and registered with the police. Firearms have to be registered with the local police. Thank you guys for giving us that information.
Yeah. Just not me. I don't live that kind of lifestyle where I'm so flamboyant and people are gonna come and rob me and stick me up or something like that. So I don't even think about that kind of stuff. Now, if we're back in the States, different story. But here, I'm not that concerned about that kind of safety.
Really not. Somebody else is reminding us, and I think everybody needs that reminder too, that Visa and Mastercard are king here. Your Amex and your Discover card, not so much. So make sure that you're using a Visa or Mastercard. And if you're using any services like SendWave or World Remit, do a transfer if you can before you come so that you can get all the verification out of the way.
Yeah.
Your bank is going to want to verify that you were really trying to transfer money to Africa. I remember when I did my first one, it was like 3 phone calls of, are you sure that you want to send money to Africa? And I'm like, yes. And one person was like, do you know the do you know who you're sending this money to? Is everything okay?
Yeah.
So yeah, you are probably going to want to try to do a transfer ahead of time, just so you know it's all going to work out. Another question: how are your language skills coming?
I have not gotten a tutor yet, but it's really weird because I went to the hardware store and I had been there a couple of times, and so they knew I didn't speak Twi, but the cashier didn't, and she started asking me a question in Twi, and I didn't realize she was talking to me. And she said something louder to me, and I kind of turned my head, and the young man who had assisted me before was like, oh, no, he only speaks English. And she looked so confused that I was like, yeah, I'm from the States. And she was like, well, how can that be? You're a Ghanaian man. You're not from the States. So, yeah, I have to learn to speak Twi because we all do.
Yeah. But you, because right? He looks so Ghanaian.
Yeah, they're like, dude, you don't speak Twi?
Everybody talks to you. And
yeah, they start speaking Twi.
And he's just like,
no, not me.
But you are getting better about piecing together what the topic is.
Right.
I feel like that's something that I've had to do since birth, to figure out what my dad was saying.
I'm closer at figuring out, what they're talking about. So that's a good thing.
Absolutely.
Hi, I'm Leo. Subscribe right now.
Is that
the little kid? Is he not the cutest kid or what? Yeah. We have someone ask about the boys on the Ghana education system. It is, okay, so we're going to talk a little bit more about education in a moment, but the US system and Ghana system are not the same. So stay tuned, we're going to talk about that in just a second. And are the boys making friends? It's funny because I feel like because school is not in, they're not meeting a ton of kids their own age. Now we just moved, so now it's kind of like starting all over again. But where we were before, they knew the market lady, they knew the water guy, they knew the people on the corner that they would walk past going to my dad's house. They would all, say hi. So it was they were meeting the people around us.
Right.
Maybe not necessarily all the kids that are their age that are in the neighborhood because everyone's still kind of working out that education piece. But yeah, they totally are.
And we're going to sign them up for Taekwondo, so they'll be able to socialize a little more and meet some friends, hopefully.
Yep, the boys have been doing karate. Luke for 6 years has been doing karate, and Leo just for 1 year. So it's going to be good that they can get back into something that's kind of familiar to them from the States. The duty alone on the truck would have killed you.
Yes. You got that right.
How's the medical there? Is it socialized or pay as you go or based on insurance like in the US? Cash is king. Cash is king.
Yeah.
I think that's true for pretty much anything here. So cash is king. And you can get the majority of your medical needs met. It just won't be as fluid a continuum of services as you are used to. So you might find that you have to go to the local hospital, and then the local hospital will send you to 3 different places to get the tests that you need. And you're going to pay ahead of time before anything happens at any of those places. But
things are changing here, and one of our upcoming videos, we talk to people who they got a all-inclusive healthcare facility and state of the art. And stay tuned and listen to our future videos because that's going to be a very, very informative video.
Someone else asked me about homeschooling and still using an American platform. At Mommy's school, it's all American-based. When they go to tutor, it is Ghanaian-based. So right now they are doing a little bit of both. Hey, Chi-Town. Someone is saying that you have to register yourself to get a license for a short gun at the police headquarters. There's a lot of talk about the gun thing.
Yeah. You guys are really gun nuts.
I think that's the American side of us. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Thanks for the transparency. We appreciate that. I think we have that one up already. Let me get down to where we are. I have to agree with you, Princess. Why are Americans so obsessed with guns?
They can't fight. I have 5 older brothers. I know how to use these. That's all I got.
I've never seen this guy fight. I've never seen you fight.
That's because I don't have to. I'm like, hey. And they're like, oh, no.
You feel bad for them. They walk away.
Yes.
Do you guys take any malaria medicine or anything for meningitis? Now, malaria is obviously something that's very big here. But if you are coming for a short stay, I highly suggest that you get anti-malarial medication just to make sure. My mom has been here three times. And every time she has come to Africa, she's been to Nigeria, Ghana, Benin, Togo. Every time she's come, she's gotten malaria. Every time she's come. So me, on the other hand, as many times as I've been, I've never gotten it. You've never.
I've never gotten it. And right now we have a good friend who is dealing with a bout of malaria, and he's Ghanaian, and so it happens.
Absolutely. Can you get a driver's license?
Yes, you can. We got our driver license last year when we were here visiting. So yes, the process is very easy. Well, it was easy for us, but how do you say it was? It's just a matter of paying to, get one transferred over. So
absolutely. So the process
is
not that hard.
Yeah, it's going to cost you.
Luke and Leo are so cute. Somebody wants to know if they can have them.
I don't know. Sometimes I'm trying to give them away, but today was a good day, so we'll keep them.
New York had more cases than the whole of Africa.
Yeah, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, we're waiting for this COVID thing." Well, your chances of waiting it out here are better than waiting it out in the States.
Yeah, totally. Somebody wants to know if they need a visa to come to Ghana.
Yes, you do. I don't know if they're doing visas when you get here or not still.
Back in the old days, you could just visa on arrival. And there was a small period where Ghana still had visa on arrival, but the airlines in the US would not let you board without a visa. So it was kind of like you were caught in this catch-22 thing where it was like, I know I can get a visa when I get there. And they're like, well, we're not letting you on the plane until you have one. So then you had to start getting your visa ahead. That actually tripped us up one trip. So you can visa on arrival, but if you are departing from the United States, the majority of the airlines will not let you board without one. So you're going to want to do that ahead of time if at all possible. So health will be much better because of the food, the air, and everything else that contributes to good health.
Yeah.
Has anyone
Kimberly
else?
Menza, what's up?
Has anyone else noticed that my dear husband here looks a little slimmer, a little more fit?
Yeah. I'm eating. I'm healthy, but the food does not have all the preservatives in it. So, I'm eating. I'm healthy. I'm losing weight. It feels good.
Yeah, I think you just live a healthier life.
Yeah, I need to start eating more and hit the gym because I'm just skinny now, and I used to have muscles and chest and biceps and stuff, and I'm just skinny now. It looks weird, so I'm gonna have to put on a little bit of weight and hit the gym because I feel weird being like skinny and untoned.
He's adorable. I love him. So it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. As long as I like it, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks, including you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Somebody wants to know what's Ghana safe, like your house, your car, your kids.
Yeah, it's safe.
Yeah.
It's safe.
Yeah.
There's some issues that I don't want people to think, oh, it's utopia there, but driving between large cities at night is not recommended. Let's see, that's the one warning. Always being aware of your surroundings and guarding yourself as far as your property. That's recommended. Something I talk to people about. Getting to know your neighbors. Not all your neighbors are going to be your friend, and you don't want to let your neighbors know too much about you until get some longevity in a friendship. So those kind of things. Our neighbor next door to us, was talking to the guy who we rented from because they knew each other, and he's like, yeah, I moved here last year and I was here about 3 weeks and they broke in. So, all eyes are on you when you're new. So we just are conscious that, we are American, and in a different country, and they're going to like, oh, they got money or something like that, so let's go rob them or steal their stuff. Not necessarily rob them, but break in. So security is a big issue with me. Not being here, but at the house and the States in general. So I think the house is
like we're shopping for houses, and you guys kind of saw him do like that walk around, and I think he's mostly walking around to try to figure out if he could break into it if he wanted to. Like, is that
basically I'm like, well, if I was going to try to get in there, how would I get in there? And so I look for vulnerable spots that security issues may have. So I feel safe here. I feel safe in the house. My kids, we're usually always with them. If we're not, we know how far they've gone from us. So
it's good.
It's okay here.
Somebody wants to know if we've connected with other expats or repats. And as we mentioned before, we are having an event next month in November. If you are not part of our closed Facebook group, make sure that you join so that you will get all the information and can meet up with us.
And my beautiful wife has come up with some crazy name for this party. What's the name for this party?
Okay, I think it's okay. Dias Party.
For the diaspora, but
Party? No? Okay, somebody drop comments and let me know. Is that like a decent name, or am I just crazy?
Yeah. But we did.
Don't say I'm crazy.
We what's her name? That was here a couple weeks ago. We met her. What's her other name? Zaire. So Zaire, if you're listening, hey, hope things are going good. I cannot remember her husband's name.
I cannot either. You did Zaire. I'm kind of impressed.
Yeah. We met them. There's a lot of people reaching out to us that
you randomly meet people. Like, we were out at a restaurant, or you went out to a restaurant and you were meeting people that were expats and repats, like the owner and an owner's friend. I think like you just Tony's the extrovert.
I go someplace, I'm like, hey, that dude, how's he speaking Tweet? He's American. And they're like, oh yeah, he was born here, but he went to the States for so long, and now he's back. So I'm just I want to know who people are and what's happening with them. So never know who you're going to meet here.
Absolutely. Somebody wants to know if the streets are paved where we've moved.
Absolutely not. That's why we got a 4-wheel drive vehicle. So
I'm glad to have it.
Yes. No, they are not paved.
They are. Yeah, they are.
We're going to be working with a couple of the neighbors and getting some of the road
filled with something so that they aren't manholes.
Yeah. So we'll be doing our part to help beautify Ghana here.
We're starting our own HOA. We're going to go to all of our neighbors' house panhandling, like, please help us fix this road. It's crazy. We can't do it anymore. Has anyone tried to scam us or get one over on you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's so weird. Like, there is this kind of underlying narrative that like everyone's out to cheat you. And while most people are out to get the most they can with the least, they have to write the least output. Like, I think that works for pretty much anyone. You're not like all the time getting scams. So like, or these big scams.
I think the biggest thing for me was we were looking at on the roadside. They do a lot of natural wood furniture, and we saw a piece of furniture we liked, and the guy said, 1,800 CDs. I'm like, oh, okay. And then you see somebody else, and we visited them a couple times, and their price was 1,600 CDs. So I wouldn't say they were trying to scam us, but they were trying to get as much on the item as they could. I understand that in business, if you can sell something for $100, sell it for $100 and be happy with it. If you have to sell it for 75, well, your profit is less, but you sold it and you're making something off of it.
And there's been a couple of things that we've bought that we've then found somewhere else more expensive. So like we've gotten a deal on things. So that it kind of like works both ways a little bit.
Does.
So
it does. But
Hopefully it evens out.
people outright just trying to get over on us.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Somebody's asking if we're working. Girl, Kimberly, we are working all the time.
Yeah.
We work.
We're working now.
But just to recall, like we do work online. So I'm working online, and I work most days. So yep, work still happens.
Yep.
Yay!
Working.
So let's get back and talk about school a little bit, because I know some people really want to hear about school questions. Yay, school questions. So one of them is, this is from the closed Facebook group. Somebody asked, do they still cane in Ghana?
I can't wait for my boys to go to school. I mean,
no. Oh my gosh, no.
Yeah.
Okay, so they still cane here.
Yeah.
There are some of the international schools where they don't have that practice anymore. But that would be a question you would have to ask when you are checking schools out.
Right.
But for the majority of school situations here, I would say you are going to have that.
Yeah, you're gonna have to.
And you ain't gonna talk your kid out of being exempt. So keep that in mind. Somebody wanted to know if the Ghana schools are as good as the U.S. schools. You know,
Interesting.
They're different.
They're different, yeah. In kindergarten here, they're learning 4 languages.
3 languages.
3 languages. So,
There's that.
yeah.
And they start schooling much earlier. Like in Texas, you don't go to school until you're in kindergarten. In Wisconsin, you know, you start K-3. The policy is just different depending on what state you're in. But they do more quality education earlier here, including those languages, when kids' brains are a little more plastic. So I think there's a lot of benefit to that. There is some difference if you have kids and you're wondering about that kind of divide. I have noticed that Ghana education does focus a little bit more on core information and skill and drill format, and very heavy in writing, like writing essays, writing exams, very heavy writing emphasis. Whereas in the United States, we tend to have a little bit more of project-based learning and this whole child kind of development, which is a little different approach. Not to say that it's better or worse, just different.
Yeah.
So
this is off topic, but a lot of people ask, you know, why don't I talk as much? Why does I always dominate the conversation? If you just heard her response, that's why. She's a professional speaker and an educator, and she's very polished, where me, on the other hand, I'm a little more rugged and rough around the edges. So I enjoy listening to her. That's why I married her. She's smart and beautiful. And when you get that combination, run with it. So yeah, this isn't my thing, public speaking, but it's fun and I enjoy it. But I'd much rather listen to my wife talk.
Oh, so sorry if you guys think I talk too much.
Yeah, I don't mind her talking too much. That means I can just sit there and listen.
Somebody else wants to know what the best schools are in Ghana. Going with an international school will probably get you an education that's a little more aligned with what your preconceived notions of what you want for your kids is. But that is not to say that the local schools aren't good.
Yeah.
I will say that the local senior schools, so senior high school equivalent, are very competitive. You have to test into the good ones, and there are some that are amazing.
Yeah.
And if your kid or the students that you have in mind have the affinity for that kind of academic rigor and can test in, you can get a free, very high quality education at some of the public schools. It just depends on your personal child. So something to consider. I'm not going to list off the best schools, but just know that there are ones. I think a lot of this depends on where you live.
Right.
So you are not going to want to put your kid in Tema International School and you're living in East Legon. That's like,
yeah, you're driving like that.
It's not going to work.
Right.
So just keep that in mind as you're picking out your housing. So we're going to come back into comments. You guys are all in here, so many. Oh, so we've got somebody here, Catherine, super sticker. Thank you so much, Catherine. I hope you're doing well and enjoying the content that we're putting out here. I really do appreciate that. Somebody wants to know if your weight loss occurred, right? Noticeably thinner. He's eating the meat.
Yeah. I actually started a diet. Wow, it's been
Like 8 months ago.
8 months ago. So I was really disciplined on the diet, and that helped me lose weight. But since I got here,
it's just falling.
It's just going. So I'm enjoying the food. I'm not turning any dinners down.
He's not turning anything down.
Yeah. So it's really, I must say, it's really the healthier eating that I'm doing, and I'm still, exercising, but the food makes a difference.
Absolutely. We've got somebody here saying that people in the diaspora should link up and have a big cookout. Maybe not a cookout, but we are going to have a little, what are we going to call it? Like an afternoon.
A luncheon. We'll have a luncheon. Yes.
We can grill something. Tony would love to grill something.
Yeah.
And then, have you found a place to rent? Yes, we have found a place to rent. We have somebody who's saying there are petty thieves in Ghana, so choose the right environment. Absolutely. Y'all, that is true anywhere.
Yes.
Somebody wants to know if you're planning on starting a business.
Did we freeze again? No, that was just me. Oh, wow. I'm getting a lot of people who are coming in and asking me, hey, do you know this, that? And construction is my forte. However, there's some things that I am interested in outside of construction. So do I plan on starting a business? Not really, but we'll see what happens. I do plan on doing something here, but exactly what yet, I haven't really nailed it down.
We have just hit an hour, and we are going to start wrapping this up in the next 10 minutes. We're just going to go through a few more comments so that you guys can kind of get your questions answered here.
I can't believe it's been an hour already.
I know, right? It goes by fast. We are
Congrats.
so close on 12,000. So if you have not subscribed yet, give us that push so we can get that congrats to 12,000 subs.
Yeah.
Give us that little tiny push. I would appreciate it. Some of the other comments, somebody said, why do people think about scams whenever Africa is mentioned? They've been scammed in New York and other parts of the world.
Yeah. Wow. It's just the negative image that's portrayed of Africa in the United States and abroad. It's sad because it scares people from coming. It gives people the wrong idea of what to expect here. And I really hate it because my first time coming to Ghana, I was like, whoa, this is where I want to be. And I wouldn't say I got scammed. I bought a shirt for 90 cedis when I could have got it for 45 cedis. So but I wanted that shirt. So if they would have said it was 100 cedis, I probably would have did it. But
and I think sometimes too, when you're here as like a tourist, right? The exchange rate, you've got your financial security.
Right.
I'm like a little bit of it is like, dude, they're haggling over what is equivalent to $3 or $4.
Yeah.
Let's take it.
Yeah, exactly.
Pay a little more.
And that's kind of my mentality is when I do the conversion, I'm like,
why haggle?
$2.50.
Right.
Really.
Somebody wants to know if you find things online, if that's the price for when you're kind of house hunting. I think you can get a good idea of how much houses will cost looking online.
And I think that's what I did. I was looking online at a lot of different houses and the areas they were in. So I knew what areas we would go to and what prices we would pay. So looking online really helped get us prepared for financially what areas would cost what.
Absolutely. We have somebody else who has said to come financially ready so you can live in a good area. And, I think that good area, bad area kind of mentality is not like completely 100% accurate. I think you can find a good area in nearly every area with a couple of exceptions. But you do want to come financially ready because you are going to have an output in terms of transportation, in terms of housing, and setup costs. If you are shipping all of your stuff from the States, that's one thing. If you're coming here and you have to still set things up and get yourself established here, you're going to have a financial cost. But be sure to check out the video when we break down the budget. You can live very comfortably for less than $3,000 US a month, and that includes rent, gas, utilities, insurance, everything. So keep that in mind. People are trying to guess where you're from based on how you look. It's funny.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I have a trip planned in the future to go to the Volta region because people are like, dude, you're from up there, man.
People keep telling you that here.
Yeah,
based on the way that you look.
So yeah, I have that trip planned upcoming. So yeah.
Absolutely. Ghana schools are better. Thank you, Natalie. We have somebody who's coming in and saying that price related everything in Africa is negotiable.
Yeah.
The supermarket is the only place that we've seen where they have like a price sticker, and that's just at the big kind of like US type supermarket.
And on the negotiation, there's a lady we visit her market because it's close, but there's like no price tags on anything, and you go up there and throw 15 different items, and she knows the price of everything. I'm like, how does she know the price of all of this stuff in here? You know, no matter what you buy, she knows the price of it.
Every time we go in, even if I get the same thing, I'm like, this was not the same price as the last time. I don't know this one.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah. P. Andrew wants to know the different schooling system, international government. Yes, it's good to know that they do have the international schools and then they have the government schools. Right. So you do kind of have to consider that. There's tech schools, yes. Although, you know, one of the favorite things I love is that there's an auto repair and air conditioning shop not that far away. And there's this young boy who's been working there for at least 2 years.
No, he's been there since.
Has he been there longer? Okay, he's been there a long time.
Right,
like he's learning in real time, in real life.
Absolutely.
This is the sweetest little guy with like the biggest smile in the whole world, and I love him to little teeny tiny pieces. But a lot of what that is that kind of apprenticeship approach to learning. So there are tech schools
like
here.
Auto tech in high school, and he's
living that life.
Yeah, junior high school age, and he's getting it. So
absolutely. Somebody wants to know about jobs where you can earn U.S. currency while living in Ghana. And I have to say, if there's any way for you to establish this beforehand, I would highly suggest it. Inside of our closed Facebook group, we have people who are doing stock exchange, who are teaching online, who are working remotely from their current job, especially with COVID closures. They were able to establish more remote learning. I think there was even a lady who said that she was doing like the customer service phone servicing from overseas. So there are options. I would highly suggest that you just go and do a little bit of research as to what is available for remote, as well as which U.S. companies have branches or outposts here in Ghana that you can get hired and start working there.
Yeah, because there are some, but as far as getting a job here in Ghana, I mean, you're going to get paid Ghana cedis, so that's may not be what you're looking for, but making US dollars here, having that plan before you get here. Yeah, you want to have that plan before you get here.
Yeah, I definitely agree. How is the local high schoolers compared to U.S. high schools? Will a Ghanaian diploma be accepted if applying to a U.S. college? From what I know, yes. I think the only kind of difference in experience that you're going to want to consider is athletics. Like in the U.S., athletics and extracurriculars like band or theater or, oh my God, like the plethora of things that you could be involved with in high school. There's so many. And here there's not like to that degree. Right. So those scholarship opportunities that are associated with a successful and highly involved high school experience in the US don't really translate over.
Yeah.
So that's just, I think that's one of the bigger things to really think about. Why do we look less stressed and more relaxed?
Oh, wow. I don't know. I had a little anxiety, and somebody mentioned this before. Tony looks so different now. These guys here, getting here because, like with COVID going on, and it's like we're not going to be able to get in. They're going to shut the borders down. So I was really, really stressed. And when we got here, I was like, okay, doesn't matter what happens, we're here.
And it was stressful because it was like we were supposed to go, and then the borders were closed, and we couldn't get. It's like all this stuff.
And then all that stuff that happened at the airport, I was like, man, something is fighting us to get here. I don't know what it is, but yeah, I'm just happy to be here, and
absolutely.
They can't say any more about that.
How are you doing? We love you guys too. Are you guys ever gonna meet my dad? I don't know. Are they gonna meet my dad? I'll have to think about that one.
Wow. Yeah.
Somebody wants to know if we are originally from Wisconsin. Yes, I am a UW-Madison grad. What? Sorry, I had to put that out there.
Yeah, I'm from Milwaukee, 53206. So that's why you don't mess with me. We got them hands. Ghost town.
With relaxed? Yes, definitely. Tony, you're a straight shooter, my kind of guy.
Yeah.
My kind of guy too. So we're getting ready to kind of wrap it up. I'm looking here. So are we looking to become Ghanaian citizens as we get ready to close?
I think we'll go for the dual citizenship. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Somebody else wants to let us know they love our channel. And you know what? We have had a really good time sharing all the information that we do here. So we're glad that you guys are tuning in. We appreciate you joining us for the live. And you know, I think it's part of our mission. I know you for sure, just to dispel falsehoods and make people feel more comfortable with the idea that there is something for you outside of the U.S.
Yes, yes. You have options. You have options. You don't have to stay in a place where you're treated as a second-class citizen.
Yeah. So I think that is the biggest thing that we are trying to do here is just to make sure that we're sharing information that is based in some truth. I like to classify our YouTube channel as the blueprint for moving to Ghana or to Africa, because you know, we hear these horror stories of people coming here not doing the research, and then they want to, you know, talk negative. It's like, you should have visited, or you know, do some research. So, well, and you could have had the same bad experience if you moved from wherever you live now to Indiana or to Wyoming. I mean, nothing wrong with Indiana and Wyoming, but if you don't do your research and have a good plan, any move that you try to do will fail.
So, yeah, so that's why we're putting out these videos, and we'll keep putting out quality content for you.
Absolutely. So go ahead and hit that like button, hit subscribe so you don't miss our next one. We are going to come back with a healthcare video. We've got a couple other things planned in the pipeline.
A shipping video. A lot of people are shipping things, and this guy keeps calling me his brother from America, and I love it. I love it. I love it. He's a neighbor across the street, and he owns a shipping company.
So yeah, we're gonna have somebody do shipping.
So we'll be able to get you very informative information on shipping
as well. Yeah. So we've got some stuff in the pipeline for you guys, as well as just acclimating and seeing what it's like to go to the market and some other things. So hit subscribe so that you don't miss anything, and we appreciate you being here today.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Are you going to do it? You're totally.
I don't want to do it. Are we done?
We're done.
Oh, we're done. Well, hey, everybody, thanks for joining us. It was great spending just a little over an hour with you. And Charlie out.
I'm sorry.
All right.